Hello and welcome to chapter 160 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing this evening?
Oh, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Indiana, and we are here watching. I got nothing. Uh, I just was momentum was going with doing like a live sports announcement or something, and it just kind of faltered. No, hi, Travis. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm appreciating the passion there, Joe, and the enthusiasm. Even though I didn't know what it was about,
No
I
idea.
like the energy that
I
you brought
literally
there.
just got done recording an episode for my other podcast like a half hour ago. We watched Steel
Oh,
from
nice!
1997. Whew. Oh boy, if you
I
guys are
can't wait.
interested in that, go over to Comic Book Rundown in about a month, and you will hear our coverage of that. And oh god, they were eating it up.
And I will get to. We will eventually cover that
In a
as
couple
well,
months
and you'll hear me
for
talk about
Patreon.
that on the Patreon plug when we get to that. Joe, I'm doing pretty good as well. I finished the finance exam today. Kind of
Good.
spoke that. That was very easy, and I have another exam uh, Thursday that evening, and then I have a little bit of a break until finals. So fingers crossed, or probably close to finals. So there might be another wave of midterms just before finals. Yay!
Yay.
So it's good. I'm kind of relaxing. This is my relaxing evening, and we are talking about some DC stuff. So I'm excited. Obviously, before we get all that out of the way, I have to do the network plugs. Uh, hmm, a little sip of water first. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 8 shows in total. On Mondays is Ranger Alliance, and that rotates bi-weekly with Slice of Film. On Tuesdays is DC Alliance. On Wednesdays is a walk through the multiverse with Joe, while Joe covers the rest of The Last of Us. And when that is over, it will switch back to its original Saturday time slot bi-weekly. So Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. Fridays is Marvel Alliance. Saturday currently is a walk through the multiverse with me. We dropped an episode last week on Friday, or well, a
You
couple
mean
days
Animation
ago.
Nation, not Walk
And
the Multiverse?
sorry, Animation Nation. Little cute little
Look,
memory
I
there.
can go twice a week. That's a lot I didn't know
You're
about.
going to cover for me now, Joe. You're going to cover my
That's
spot as
fine.
well. No,
That's fine.
the Animation Nation podcast, of course, obviously. And yeah, I put that out on Friday this week because the Marvel Alliance guys had their review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I watched that film. Joe, you have watched that film as
Yep.
well, and it's a great review. So check those guys out and try when you
I tried.
come when you come at the Marvel Alliance guys, make sure there's nothing they can possibly pick apart, or you're going down. And that's
Found
kind of
that
what
out
happened
today.
here.
That was fun though.
It was fun. I had a great chuckle when I saw that. So yeah, on Sundays monthly is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. All three of those shows also have their own podcast feed. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 8 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. $1 tier is basically tip jar. You like what we're doing and you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extra. You get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through DC films through the years, like I teased. We already have Swamp Thing in the can. It will not be edited until this weekend, unfortunately, because of tests. So it is sitting there in my queue, waiting to get the 1982 theatrical Swamp Thing trailer attached to it and put out for you patrons. So be on the lookout for that in a
89, Return of Swamp Thing. You're way
yeah,
off today.
89. I'm little
Little
numbers are
frazzled.
all the numbers are wishy washy in my head right now, Joe.
That's
So
fair
stick with
enough.
myself and Joe as we go through DC films through the years. We have Chris and Brant, the Marvel Alliance guys, going through the MCU rewatch, not only movies but the one shots as well. We also have Clay going through shows for the first time, Katie going through Star Wars comics with her husband Matt, and we also have Joe Multiverse Minutes. We thank everyone that's a patron, but if you can't be a patron, if you can take quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, that's always greatly appreciated. Helps other people find the show, and that's always a good thing. Okay, that's everything. We have a question quickly before we
Okay.
get into it from On the Game. Didn't Gunn inadvertently reveal that he was hired to work Superman earlier than was previously revealed? His overactor Twitter fingers were going to get a little bit of going to get him in a little bit of trouble. I feel like his time on Twitter is going to decrease more and more, like Joe said, as he gets into more things. You did talk
I
about
think later this year and definitely next year, his activity is going to slow down. but I didn't know if he had actually revealed this. I
Yeah, he
wouldn't be
did. He
surprised.
did.
Did
He
he?
did in the Twitter. I left that off of the show chat because
And that's fine.
that
Um,
it's the past thing. Like it was a lot of moving balls in place when that was going down. Like which is what
see,
WB used to be before DC Studios.
yeah,
They
like I
hired various people to work on various things, and you didn't know what was going ahead at any point in time. So
I remember once he got quote unquote fired from Marvel that WB like offered him the opportunity to come over and do Superman thing, which we got Brightburn from. Like
yeah,
he helped produce
and
Brightburn.
he wanted to do Suicide Squad instead, but he did write he was 6 months earlier than like, before he took over DC Studios, he was writing Superman Legacy.
Gotcha.
So, that's the little kerfuffle there, like, people are complaining, but unfortunately, like, we both
That's
loved
the
ma
business, you
we
know?
loved Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill got a little screwed over, but maybe he knew a bit more about the chance he was taking, but that's the past now. That is over. I'm looking forward to what we're getting in DCU Chapter 1, and
Yeah,
let's hope that Gunn doesn't stick his foot in his mouth anymore on the game. So I hope he's a little less active on Twitter, a little more. I want a big San Diego Comic Con. We'll talk about that because
we'll
there
get
is a
to
little bit
that
here
here in a bit. Yeah,
in a
in the
bit.
news.
So this is a good lead in though, because our first topic of tonight, Joe, is the DCU Chapter 1 speculation that has been going rampant, and basically, like on the game kind of said, James Gunn's fueling it a little bit too with his Twitter activity, his responses, even what we'll talk about here today. He did mention, I got to stop replying to these tweets or people are going to start cross referencing. Shout out to Clay, who cross referenced immediately in our GUA chat and said Nightwing's the one in both of them. So shout out there. Didn't have to even look there.
Let's we're gonna get into it, but are you honestly surprised Nightwing is
No,
gonna
no,
happen?
and I'm happy because I'm. We'll get into that. But
Yeah,
so James Gunn responded to a couple of articles, like I said, indicating possible characters that may appear in Chapter 1 of DCU. He replied to IGN, which had a list of 10 characters. Those 10 characters were Nightwing, Martian Manhunter, Lobo, Brainiac, Deathstroke, Jason Todd, Zatanna, the Court of Owls, Mr. Freeze, and John Constantine. And they were like 10 possible characters that could show up in DCU Chapter 1. He quote tweeted that and said that would 5 of 10. Well, it didn't quote, it was Instagram, but the quote tweet version of Instagram. I don't have Instagram anymore. I deleted it because
it's
it's basically,
he made a reel of it, or he made a
yeah,
story. He
stories.
quoted the story.
Yeah.
What he did.
And said, would 5 of 10 work? So, Joe, I got to ask you right off the top. What do you think about him being this active on Twitter, responding to these things, getting speculation up?
Basically being active with social media. Honestly, it's not a terrible idea. It's helping fuel the drive for the stuff because it's getting fans interacted with it. Now, it I am not. It's gonna come by him in the ass eventually
Hmm. Yeah, like all
because
the games
what
said.
all the game said. It's literally going to. He's gonna. Although he's been pretty smart about what he says and
Well,
everything he's done,
the accounts he
even
usually replies to are usually not normally as IGN. Normally, it's small accounts where like it
that.
doesn't. Yeah,
But it's he's usually pretty meticulous on what he does. Every picture he's shown, while it's not, you know, right there and then, like, oh, this is definite, but like the picture of him having a whatever breakfast, and there is the Batman and Robin omnibuses on his counter. Like he's subtle but not subtle, you know?
well, I don't even
And
think he tried that because he tried to say like that. That's just reading I have, and then we go to, oh look, that's exactly why I was
that's what
going
I'm
with
saying.
my
Like
Batman.
he'll play it off. But these people are dissecting his images similar to how everywhere the Snyder cult was dissecting Snyder's images. Like
Yes,
these guys know what they're doing, but at the same time, they're gonna get to the point where they're gonna stop, and people are gonna be clamming for it. You know, or clamoring. There we go
yeah,
for it. But
a
no,
lot.
I think he's doing. I think what he's doing is wonderful. I think he, like I said, he's getting the interaction with the fans and people. As much as they say they're hating it, it's getting responses. It's making news articles. You know, we're
Yeah,
talking about it here. We're speculating about it here.
yeah, I love it, Joe. I know, like, eventually I want him to ease back a little bit on the social media and maybe do these reveals a la Kevin Feige in like interview drops instead of just replying to people on Twitter and Instagram. But I still want
I don't
him
know
to
though. It
reveal
kind
the.
of,
I
like I
still
said,
want
it
him.
drives up the thing.
It does, but I still want him to reveal these nuggets. I'm enjoying this, and I'm like the Charlie GIF of It's Always Sunny. I did reply to him exactly saying like this one goes
Yeah.
where. So yeah, I'm all about this. And now I got to ask, who do you think of the 5 of the 10? If you were to predict 5 of those 10, who do you think are the 5 that are going to show up in chapter 1?
So Clay, you just showed a minute ago, said anyone in the Bat family is a given. Yes and no,
I
because
don't think that. I
so
think given the show up in this universe, yes. But in this chapter 1, I think I can't 100% confirm that some of these characters might not show up.
I think okay. So out of these first 10, because I know in the second
Yeah.
8, there's a Bat family member that I don't think is going to show up yet, but will show up eventually. Out of these first 10, um, Nightwing is almost a given,
Yeah.
only because the Batman, the Brave and the Bold is Batman and Robin, Bruce and Damian. You can't have Damian without having Dick, Jason, and Todd, or Jason and uh, Tim. And honestly, if you want to be like go real like left field, Stephanie, but no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But so Nightwing and Jason Todd, I think, are definitely going to be in this phase. May not be a prominent role, but I think they'll be there. The issue I have with that is we got those characters in Titans, and I'm curious on how much they actually want to play with characters that they've already seen the live action adaptation in the last 5 to 10 years. This is something different. Who knows? We've got 3 different interpretations of Deathstroke between the CW, Arrowverse, the movie, and Titans.
Titans.
So I don't know. But so those are my first 2. My next 2, so 3 and 4, are Zatanna and Constantine, because I definitely think magic is gonna play a big
Mhm.
thing. Honestly, in the Swamp Thing movie, I think that's where we're gonna see at least Constantine and maybe even mention of Zatanna, if not just a quick cameo. We'll see. I don't know. My last bit though, I would love to see Court of Owls. I don't think we're gonna see that in the DC universe. I think that's gonna
Yes.
be the Matt Reeves
That's why I
work.
left off another character.
Uh would I love to see Manhunter and Lobo? Sure. I would love to see those 2. But I think Martian Manhunter has, because of this Zack Snyder's Justice League, people are expecting one thing, and they could get a better interpretation here, but I don't know if that will actually happen. Lobo being with everything that's going on with Jason Momoa, who knows? I doubt that's going to happen at the moment, but anything's possible. Mr. Freeze again, I think it's going over the Reeves, so
That as well.
that leaves Deathstroke, and that leaves Brainiac. Would I love to see Deathstroke? Yes,
But your same reasoning for Martian Manhunter is going to be why we're getting.
exactly. So that's why I'm going with Brainiac. I think Brainiac is the number 5.
I have some different ones than you, so I am glad I had Constantine Joe, but I took him out because of the last report that is in the news that we'll talk about. Constantine thumbs up right now
Yes.
for Keanu Reeves, so I'm not sure if they want to go that well yet. So my 5
Oh,
were Nightwing, Lobo, Deathstroke, Jason Todd, and Zatanna.
okay.
So I took out Brainiac because I wasn't sure, and I thought there was going to be some magic. So and Clay says, according to Scoops today, Lobo is somewhere in DCU Chapter 1. According to the Toast person, I think, who was dropping some scoops today, but I don't know how accurate that person is yet, so I'm going to like hold
Well,
off
and
the names.
and scoops are scoops. Like it's possible that this got some flames to the fire.
Oh,
And
100%.
again, I would love to see Lobo. We talked about that in I think in the last couple episodes. I just don't know if it happens. I don't know if it's gonna be Jason Momoa,
No, I'm not sure about that, but I really think there's a possibility of him showing up in the Superman film, a la Man of Tomorrow. I think that is a.
but so could
Uh,
Brainiac,
oh yeah, Brainiac could as well. I would
and he'll
love.
be a
I'd love.
giant spider head.
I'd
Just kidding.
prefer to see Brainiac. I'd prefer to see Brainiac. I should have put who I want to see and who I think we'll see there because if I want to see is Brainiac all day. And Joe, then we got a second thing here where Bleeding Cool put out an article of 8 heroes they want to see in live action films, And James Gunn replied to him and said, "Would 4 of 8 do?" And that's when he replied to that and said, "I got to stop replying, or people are going to start cross-referencing these things."
Yep.
And the 8 that were on this list was Nightwing, Tara Markoff, Superman, John Kent, Arsenal, Roy, Green Lantern, Kyle, and Vixen, and Batgirl, Cassandra Cain, and Static Shock.
Yeah.
So let's flip it around this time, and I'll give you my
Yeah, you
5
go
or
first.
my 4, sorry, not 5. And I went with Nightwing because he was on both, so, gotta cheat
Like I said,
there if I'm
Nightwing's almost a
Superman.
given.
Yeah, it's definitely I would love to see him show up in Batman and Robin, or, well, the Brave and Bold. I'm calling it Batman and Robin for the time being. And then I took Vixen because I really enjoy the character. I think that's something that they could possibly do. And with Damian showing up, I thought that it was a good possibility that we could see John. And I don't know how the age we could see him, but I think we could see John at some point in chapter 1. Maybe baby John. He didn't say that it had to be Superman. Like, he didn't specifically say exactly what you said here, or you could get these characters, because the article says characters, and then it shows Superman, but in brackets John Kent. So I think there's a possibility with Damian being there that we could see John Kent and eventually lead to some sort of Super Sons thing down the line. And my final is Static Shock because I love that character. I can't believe it hasn't been in live action yet. And it's just that animated show is one of my finer things I enjoyed in the DCAU that doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've seen that show, and I
Is
know the comic I have been on and off for years. Like I've picked up an issue here and there, and enjoyed what I've read. It just never really held my attention to continue on.
Yeah.
But I know that character; it's a beloved character. The show definitely helped drive the character, which is why I also have him on my list.
Ooh.
I think Static Shock would be amazing, and I think seeing him in live action would be great, not only for representation but just for the character itself. Obviously, Nightwing is on there. Um, I also have Arsenal Roy on there, even
I
though we
debated it. I really debated it as well.
he's one where I think we could get a potential uh maybe Red Hood and the Outlaws situation, which would have, you know, Red Hood, Arsenal, Starfire, even like
Mhm.
that's my wish. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that is a wish. And then I've got some question marks here. Batgirl, like I said, I think would show up not in chapter one. I think she'd be down the line.
And they specifically said Cassandra Cain's Batgirl,
Correct.
which I think we're getting the original Batgirl before we get
I
Cassandra
definitely think
Cain.
we'll see Barbara Gordon. I don't know if we'll see her as Batgirl. I definitely think we'll see her as Oracle.
Ooh, I forgot about that. See, when I keep thinking about, like, rebooting that, I forget the picture in my head that Batman is established and we have a Robin that is Damian.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So like
yeah.
you're moving down the line. But that you keep that in mind though, when when Robin came around, yes, Barbara Gordon was Oracle, but she wasn't Oracle very long, and then she became Batgirl again.
Yeah,
So
I know that
anything's
I
possible.
don't think they're going to do that in this, where
No,
they
I think
a
it'll
la
be
Felicity, where if you're paralyzed, like you're paralyzed, boy, we had a chip for you. I don't think we're doing that. Although they even did that in the MCU with Rhodey. Like,
yeah. Well,
he couldn't move his legs, and he had the braces. Tony Stark made the things for him. I'm not sure. I don't think Brent, Chris, whenever you listen to this, please let me know if Rhodey was actually paralyzed or just injured, and then like gradually got himself back to health.
well,
I'm
I
not
mean
sure. I
that
know
was
Felicity was total chip in back to make you not paralyzed anymore, which
which
I thought
was
was
a
a little.
direct pull from Oracle from the comics
Yeah.
because she was paralyzed, got a chip embedded in her spine, and could use the legs again.
Yeah.
The Rhodey thing, that was the whole premise of um in Doctor Strange. Like it was one of the cases that he dismissed. Like they
Yeah.
talked about a guy who had severe spinal damage. So like I think he was actually paralyzed.
Yeah, that's the thing
Um
I'm really curious about there. But
so but as for my number four, I would love to see Terra. I think that'd be kind of cool.
yeah.
But that would be Teen Titans. And I don't think we're getting Teen Titans.
If we are, maybe chapter 2.
Well, yeah, correct. Like this, I can see these characters I can all see coming eventually.
Yes.
But I don't think The reason I didn't say John Kent was because of the younger Superman we're getting.
Well,
Yes, we're getting an established Batman.
James Gunn has replied that Superman doesn't is not necessarily 25 years old. He's just a couple years younger than Batman.
Yeah, but how old is Batman?
Well, if Batman's 32, Superman can be like 28 and then meet Lois in this film, and then by the time chapter 1 is over, they could have a kid. And he some go through some sort of temporal vortex to like there you go. I should have shouted out S-Bubs. S-Bubs says, I think Rhodey is still paralyzed, but by in-game, the War Machine suit could help him move. He talks about that with Nebula.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you,
in
S-Bubs.
Falcon Winter Soldier, he was walking around without a War Machine suit.
Yeah, he's in, oh, Mr.
Don't
MCU.
don't yell at me, S-Bubs.
And then he has braces that helps him. There you go. That's what
Okay,
I
fine.
thought. Yeah. So,
Um,
yeah,
no,
really interesting characters, though, Joe.
I think Vixen is my number 4. I
Yeah.
would love to see Vixen happen. I know we got her in 2 different times in Legends of Tomorrow, but I like the character. I
Can't
think
forget
she would be
Stephanie
a
Innes,
great
right?
addition to the. I don't know where she would fall because again, we haven't gotten the last half of Phase 1, or I'm sorry, Chapter 1, but I don't know.
Just interesting, cool to speculate. That's why I did enjoy James Gunn, like just tipping it out there a little bit about like it doesn't even these characters don't even need to show up in the films that he's announced. Like they could
And I
be
think
some of the
that's the plan.
unannounced films in in chapter 1. So, Joe, let's take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're at Ad Support Network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. That was, like I said,
That was fun.
enjoyable. I mean, I can't wait. That's why I'd rather talk about this speculation of what's coming forward than debate who screwed over who in the Henry Cavill,
But
The
here's
Rock, everything
the
situation.
fun thing going forward is if they do this right, we could potentially see all these characters.
Mhm.
We could
Mhm.
see all 17. I say that because Nightwing's on both.
Yes.
Um, and we could get the team ups. We could get the Red Hood and the Arsenals. We could get the Titans. We could get the Teen Titans. We could get the Justice League International with Vixen and maybe Static Shocks in there. Like we could get these movies. We could get these characters. It's just gonna take a minute. You know,
Yes.
it's not gonna be all in 2025, 26.
No.
It probably won't get here till 30 for a
And
few.
if the first projects are successful, you have greater chance of getting more projects,
Yeah.
which can have more.
And if they
You could have a West JLA. You could have a JLA TV show, a HBO Max show. Like you know what I mean. You could have other things if you do this right and
yeah,
connect it. But this is what they're talking about too: major connectivity. So
but that's the big thing. They can't they can't oversaturate it all. Like
yes, 100%.
having and I'm not saying Marvel is a problem for this, but because of the pandemic, they everything got crunched together in
Yes,
2021 and 2022. So it's one of those things where do 3 movies, 2 shows a year. Give me that. We don't need a shit ton of things. Heck, I'd even be fine with 2 movies and 1 show, you know, but we'll get there.
agreed. And Clay says, for the record, I believe there will be set up for Titans or the end of the Titans or the idea of the Titans existing at some
And I
point.
like that idea.
And I agree.
We
And
could move forward from that.
you could have Nightwing show up in The Brave and the Bold, and there could be a
Get
reference
Arsenal
in
shows up. Heck, even get Wonder Girl show like, you could get the legit first Teen Titans to show up and then build a team, build the Titans, which Kyle Rayner was in that run for a bit. Tara
I
showed up there for a while. Like,
I wanna see this DCU go fantastical, Joe. I don't be scared to use any characters, like, power sets. I wanna see as much like, go big or go home in this. So, yeah,
yeah,
we're
don't go too
excited for
big,
what's
you know?
well, yeah.
Keep it grounded.
We have that with the Batman over there. Oh my god, I'm curious to have Mr. Freeze just gonna have a
Dude, I
fire
would love
hydrant
look,
and turn him.
my Batman rogues gallery I wanna see is Clayface and Mad Hatter. You
And
could definitely
Man-Bat.
make those 2 and what?
Man-Bat. Like, I'm just
Man-Bat
talking about
Man-Bat could work.
fantastical yes.
Sure, but those are the 2 I wanna see in live action. I've been wanting to see them since forever. Those are the 2 I want. I would love to see them in the Batman films. If we can't get them there, bring them over to the Brave and the Bold universe. Maybe we can get something there. I don't know. I want to see those two in live action. That's not on the TV show, like in an actual movie with a budget.
Agreed. That would be like Chef Kiss. So
I mean, Clayface is
Joe,
easy. Just hire like 20 actors.
yeah, I would love
They
to
all do the
see
same role.
CG for Clayface. That would be something remarkable. So we got our first look at Harley Quinn, Lady
Yeah.
Gaga's version of Harley Quinn. And, it's not much to this, just a picture of two of them obviously looking madly in love. And I think it's
Mad love, you say.
just after kissing, you can see Joker's lipstick on Harley, I think. This comes out October 4th, 2024. They're already deep into filming now. Joe, do you think this is going to be as big of a success as Joker 1 was, especially with adding Lady Gaga, who's quite popular and to
Very popular.
the big show that is? I know people are very interested to see her portrayal as Harley Quinn.
I like Lady Gaga. I know when she first got on the scene with the music, it was one of those. She was weird to me, but she was a persona. Like
Yeah.
she played it up. I can't remember whether I think I watched her a little bit in American Horror Story, and I'm like, holy shit! Like she can act. Like that's awesome. So I'm interested to see what she can do as Harley Quinn in this movie. Will it be as successful? I don't know because I don't think we needed a sequel.
No. But I also didn't think the first one was going to do anywhere near what it did.
True,
Like I was
100%
completely
true.
shocked. So is this a
I'm
Venom
looking forward to it.
situation or a Deadpool situation where the first one was like added, like you're shocked, and then you go to the second one? Is it success or is it not so
I
much
think it
success?
will be. I don't think it's going to be as successful as the first one, but it's definitely going to be making some money. Like it's definitely
Yeah.
going to be up there, but will not get to that level the first one got.
I think you might be right, but I think it needs to get a certain amount, 700 million, maybe 600
I
million
think 800 was in my mind for some reason.
to be
But yeah, 7 to
successful.
800
Yeah.
is probably what they're going
Especially
to do.
depending on budget. Budget was really low last time, and the sucky thing was WB didn't had a half investor, so they didn't get all the
Yeah,
profits on that one.
that's the whole thing.
So like we were talking about James Gunn before, he made a response on Twitter saying that there's going to be a major casting announcement in the next 6 months. Obviously, I think that will be at SDCC. What do you think, Joe, for that?
I mean, since what you call it is not really what they do the online thing. I can't remember what it was called. Fandom. Since
Yeah,
Fandom has last year just kind of sucked. Yeah, SDCC is kind of the only thing they have. Although I mean
channel.
they got the New York Comic Con,
They also have the Brazilian one,
which
SX
pops up.
CCXP was another
Yeah,
one that's big
that
for them.
get some stuff released from time to time.
So
Uh,
James Gunn got to go big on this kind of stuff.
SDCC I think is going to be. I think Gunn's going to bring a presence back. DC presence back there. Marvel doesn't need to be. They've got the Investors Day. They've got Disney Plus Day. Like they've got their own stuff now. They don't need to have it.
No, they're their own
So
ecosystem. Like they don't
correct.
need, yeah,
So yeah, I definitely think SDCC. Thank you, Clay.
yeah, in
And
October.
New York Comic Con is in October. Um, I yeah, San Diego Comic Con is definitely going to be. We're going to get some. This is Costco now.
Superman is walking out on stage.
Do you think we're only going to get the one, or you think we're going to
No,
get
at
like
the very
three?
least, but that's going to be the big one.
Well,
Superman is going to
sure,
walk out on stage.
but like I think any is going to be.
Ooh,
Oh
never heard that name. Bat Super says Sam Raimi for Superman Legacy. I like that choice. That's I haven't heard that one. That
yeah, but Raimi's got a style. Like I don't know if I want that for Superman.
I wouldn't mind living in the multiverse where we get it. To be honest with you, just
Not
to see
wrong.
it. That's the other
I'm
appealing thing.
still living in the multiverse where we got a Nick Cage Superman.
Or the Schumacher cut.
Well, you know.
Maybe one day. So the Penguin show adds three more actors to its cast, adding Michael Kelly, Sharon Abdul, and Deidre O'Connell. Apologies to the middle name there. I know that Michael Kelly was in Man of Steel as the creepy guy that was trying to get people to go to the game with him. And I guess he never ever got anyone to go to the game and had to go to work for the Penguin. No, the DCU is not going to work like that. Yeah, okay.
Don't remember that part.
No, he's the guy that helps Perry try to save that girl who's trapped in the
That's right.
Yeah, he's
He
that
was
jerk.
he was a reporter. He was crap. What's his name? Yeah. Yep. Lombardi. There we go.
Yes, I think it was. And SBub says yes. Supposedly Pattinson is going to show up as well. I like we talked about before. I hope it's not too much. I don't want to like expect him a lot in the series, but also if I do see a lot of Batman, it will blow my socks off. So
Yeah, I don't.
really interested to
So
see where they
for
continue
these,
on right after the event. I'm really interested to see.
correct.
Yes.
For these three, cool. I don't really know them very well, so I mean, any actor is great.
Honestly, I still feel this as a DC fan.
I'm
I
just
don't know if you
saying,
want to
Bat
don't.
Super. It's gonna be
Uh,
it will be awesome.
I don't know if you want to clip this, but every time there's DC casting and stuff, all I can think is, "Ooh, this means that there's still a chance this is going forward."
Oof.
I know, I still feel it every time I see some casting. I'm like, "Oh, this thing's still happening." Like, how many times did they tell us Green Lantern's still happening? Green Lantern show's still happening, and we got, "Oh no, it's not happening at
Oh,
all."
they got
So
yeah. They even had cast like
yeah,
they had like a week of announcing people, and then just kind of
so
nope.
yeah, a little scarred and burned for that, but let's hope for the best here. I'm
But this is
excited
a
to see
new
this show.
regime. This a whole
Yeah.
new people behind it. It's not what we used to have where they tried to push a cast because they were trying to hide something.
That's true as well. So we have a
Lost
new
Creed stuff, man.
image from the Flash of Michael Keaton, like the best look at him, really. His hand, I don't know if he's
The
wearing a
crazy look, you
glove.
mean?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's wearing a glove or
Oh, yeah,
his
no, that's a
hand is
glove. That's just like
damaged.
that's a
It
like a
looks like a welding glove
yeah,
there
exactly. It just
from
goes up the arm kind
personal
of thing. He's
experience.
dealing with he's throwing the switch for the lightning thing. Like it's electricity. He's trying to protect himself.
100 if
Or his forearm is super jacked. I don't know.
or is he looking at Barry as he's getting ready to do the electricity like
He's
experiments
got
to
that
give it the
gleam
power?
in his
He,
eye
you know
of
what he's
like,
saying to
"I'm gonna kill you, mother."
no, you know what he's saying to him right now, Joe, just before he turns on the switch? "You
What's that?
wanna get nuts? Let's get
Ah,
nuts." They're
maybe.
they're they're throwing the nostalgia hits one after another. Exactly, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, maybe.
You wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts. They're really going for all the old hits here, but, I love the I'm Batman, so I'm all for this.
You and
We
half
got
America, apparently.
we got well, apparently, because we got news that The Flash was the most watched Super Bowl theatrical trailer since 2018. So apparently
Look,
it
the
topped.
trailer was awesome. The trailer the trailer made the movie look good, and it got a lot of people excited, not gonna
Mhm.
lie, and I just hope they can keep this excitement because we will probably get at least one more trailer before the movie comes out. Maybe, we'll see. Um, but the hype right now is in the positive for this movie.
Yeah, agreed. And this is according to Listen First, of course, that it trended above everything else. I'm excited for this, Joe. I love this, and obviously, this was a good marketing move by WBD here because the Super Bowl was the most watched. It was like over 100 million people watched the Super Bowl, and a whole shitload of people wrote. It was like 6 people wrote me and asked me about this film in varying
Okay,
degrees.
nice.
Yes, of is this like was this still happening? Is this connected? Holy crap, Keaton's back. So it went from varying degrees of everything. Even my dad mentioned to me when I was talking to him last night about he's like, I didn't know Michael Keaton was coming back as Batman, and I was like,
Well, and that's a good
whoa,
surprise for
whoa.
people who aren't us, who don't pay
Yeah.
attention to this stuff on a daily basis.
No, but my dad's a moviegoer. He goes to the film, goes to see a movie once every couple weeks, even if it's by himself, just as the break the time up when he's not working.
Yeah,
And he's seen stuff like he enjoyed the old stuff, but he did enjoy the Nolan movies. He enjoyed Zack Snyder's couple films that I watched with him. He didn't watch the whole DCEU or anything, but this is the kind of thing that brings in your general audience people, and he'll take mom with him as a person, so that's an extra seat. So that's the kind of thing that's going to bring in more people. Just, I'm really excited for this film to finally come out. We have a couple other DC films before it that I'm excited about, not as excited, but we'll,
was it just the
we'll,
one, right? It's just Shazam?
is it Blue Beetle? Blue
Oh,
Beetle's
Blue Beetle was
after this.
August.
After, yeah, you're right. Blue
Yeah,
Beetle's after this. Yeah. So the next is we have the Funko Pops for Flash film. They're out now.
these look
Uh
cool, not
these
gonna
look
lie.
awesome.
I I haven't bought a Funko Pop in years, and I'm considering wanting to buy that Supergirl one
I
because
picked up two
you did.
today.
You got a couple you shared in the group chat with
These are not DC, of course, listeners, but these are both for $4 each.
Baby
Grogu
Grogu.
and Spider-Man No Way Home upgrade
Yeah.
suit. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to pick these up for sure, Joe.
I think the last ones I bought were either for Bioshock Infinite or Nathan Drake from Uncharted 4. That's how long ago it's been since I bought a Funko.
It's been a while. I think I'm going to pick these three up. They look fantastic. So I love when this stuff come out.
Nice.
I
Good
actually
job,
think
Stubbs. I got a few, like, I remember when Loot Crate was a thing. I got a few out of there, like a Doc Brown. I know my girlfriend bought me very nice. My girlfriend bought me the Batman 89 rooftop scene of Batman and the
Ooh.
Joker. Like, I got that.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
I think I've got a couple other like I just because I have so much already, I don't
Yeah.
need any more. I don't need another vice of buying
I heard
weapons
when the giant Megazord is literally like to the right of your shoulder.
right here.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Like,
got that. I
I
got
didn't buy that. Like, I can understand why with all the
the
comments
bad
behind
thing
it.
is I have a bunch of like statues and figures that I would love to put up. I don't have room. Like I've got eight statues right there of
You got an
of
arcade cab in your corner.
yeah. Don't worry about that. Uh, like I got all these statues. I got totes under my stairs full of figures that I can't put anywhere. So I don't need any more figures. I'm eventually
But
gonna get rid of some of this stuff, but eventually.
so to go with this, we have a new poster for the Flash as well, uh, with the Batman symbol with a red lightning bolt spray painted and the yellow lightning going across, which I think
Yeah.
represents Reverse Flash, regular Flash, and Batman. Uh, just all these things get me excited. There is a mug going around, a coffee mug that has the Batman symbol and the Flash symbol in black. The mug is black and the symbols are in red. And I think Andy from Holy
Okay.
Batcast got his mug. He shared it on Twitter, and the Batman symbol was upside down.
Oh,
Yeah, he's like, I don't think this is supposed to be this way. So
maybe,
yeah,
maybe not.
I just love that new things are
Maybe
coming out.
something I can. I got nothing. I got. I can't say anything about that one. I got nothing.
And I guess we have a new poster, Joe, for Shazam: Fury of the Gods
This
for
looks cool.
China. This looks cool. It looks like your standard poster of heroes and other people extending, but I do like the Shazam family to the right and left of him, and the main villains above him.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, really, just excited to see this film. It's only in a few weeks. It looks like it's going
Yeah.
out. It's same time in China
Get my
because
ticket.
it says
Um,
3/17 in China as well.
I didn't realize they were doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
I
that's
thought they were gonna have like at least a week ahead of it, but okay.
yeah,
I'll
that'll
take
be
it.
our next. That'll be we have a review in that like a month. So
Yeah,
uh,
I still gotta get my tickets because I'm gonna try
same.
and
I had
get
to.
gonna try to do a Thursday night and a Friday night before because I'm assuming we'll talk
Yeah,
after
we'll
this.
we'll,
I'm
we'll
assuming
figure
we're
it out.
recording Friday, but
Yeah,
I wanna try to get at least 2 viewings in
same.
before
That's
we talk.
kind of my goal. But I have a ticking time bomb as well. So
You
uh,
do. Yep.
I got approval to go see the film. So that's still
If
what
you can
we.
get at least one so we can talk about it, that's great.
That's the main thing
Then we'll
there.
worry about the regular show afterwards.
Yeah. So going on from that, like I was talking about earlier with our choices for the 10 characters IGN released, I didn't include Constantine because of this right here, which is Akiva Goldsmith says he's currently writing the script for Constantine 2, and his source is Deadline. And that there, I'm not sure if we're going to get that Constantine and other Constantine showing up at the same time. So that's why I'm a little hesitant. But it depends if when Swamp Thing actually comes out.
So my rebuttal to that is this Constantine could potentially just be an Elseworlds.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we know we're gonna have an Elseworld Superman and
Well,
a mainline Superman.
I,
Well,
I don't. We don't know. It's still DC. They need to earn some credibility with us first. We need to see these projects come to fruition. Uh,
fair. But like as of right now, we don't know Constantine 2 is actually happening. He's just saying the script is being written.
That's true.
And Keanu Reeves said a couple weeks ago that he's still, as far as he knows, it's still happening. But
Yes.
like we don't know
No, things like this
because
end all the time. Think about New Gods. We were getting updates on that all the time. This
yeah,
happening. We're writing
and
script,
that
writing
went
script.
that went down the
They
drain.
just didn't win with it. So they might get this, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't want to do this." So I hope it just made me
I would
happy
love to
to
see
see
them
this.
happen. Like I would
Yeah,
love to see. And I don't know if people could be confused by it because we're at the point now with comic book, especially DC properties, where you have like Constantine on the CW, and we still have the other movie, and those two are two separate things. And yes, you are right.
it's about
F-Bubs.
it's about this first they need to find where JJ's hiding with all that $200
Well, I
million
can tell you where
deal.
he's not hiding it in the
Just,
Justice League Dark HBO show.
and
'Cause that got canceled.
that's what they call segue, because that is our next news item, and that is canceled finally because like as Bubs teased there, one day announced that like 4 years ago
God,
that
it's
Bad
been so
Robot
long.
was with
Well, and
DC, and we didn't get a single thing produced by Bad Robot yet.
there's a project that was shared in the group chat, I think over the weekend. And it was starring Sawyer from Lost. I can't remember his real name. That project from Abrams is finally going forward. Like if that's part of that $200 million deal, great. That better be a damn good show then, because it's worth $200 million right now.
I'd say it took Zaslav 2 or 3 days to find his head once he looked at J.J. Abrams' deal and then looked at the return on investment. Like, his head must have exploded, and it took him a couple days to find it because he's big on return on investment. That is, like, your basic finances, and when you give somebody a $200 million deal and they don't produce content for you, that is a problem. You don't give that to them so they don't go somewhere else. Like,
Well,
you
but
give that
here's
to them.
sure, but what if he got the deal first and then he started pitching projects?
Well, that could
Like,
be it too, yeah.
and then they just keep like, no, that's a bad project. No, we've got an idea for that later for somewhere else down the line. Like maybe his stuff just hasn't been able to succeed. Maybe hasn't been able to move forward. So it isn't
that's true.
him hiding. It's more of the company like, no, we already have plans for this stuff. You need to come up with something different.
Yeah, and we're talking about DC before DC Studios, so
Correct. So
WB,
that's
and
definitely a possibility.
that is a
Like
possibility.
Abrams
That's
could have came up to him with like, "Hey, I've got a good idea for a John Stewart Green Lantern movie." Nope, you can't touch that. We're doing Green Lantern over here, and John Stewart's gonna show up in that. We don't want to confuse them. Oh, okay. Well, how about a Justice League Dark where we're not having Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman? Well, okay, maybe. Who you got in mind? Well, Constantine. Well, Constantine's over here in Arrow. Can't use him. Zatanna. Zatanna showed up in Smallville many years ago. We can't use her.
I don't
Uh,
think it's gotten to that point, although Nolan even stopped Smallville from getting Batman, so things are definitely it's definitely whoever got the power at that point.
exactly.
So, Joe, before we get into our last little bit of this evening, let's take our final ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. Travis watched
Who this
Flash
is a fun thing here.
902 today, and I shared a message in the group chat. And I don't know. I think Chris maybe is the only other person that's watching Flash right now. Maybe Brent as well.
I know I'm
But
not. I think Brent. I don't
so
know if he's caught up yet, but I know he will be watching it.
so the main thing I tweeted was I shared in the GWA chat was the Barry meme when he's standing in front of Oliver's grave, but I wiped out Oliver's grave because it's Caitlin. Caitlin is dead. There's Caitlin. They
Oh yeah.
find out in this episode
Wait,
Caitlin is dead, like dead.
Caitlin, like
See
dead,
it,
dead, like
Caitlin, dead, dead, never coming back, never see you again, never see, and not one freaking tear from anyone. Not a memorial service, not a funeral, not a nothing. And this is the first. This is exactly when they find out. The guy tells them Caitlin's dead, and then they are like, "Oh, I guess Caitlin's dead," and they
wait,
just
they
go
don't.
on about their day. Like they don't even. They try to save. They try to bring both of them back, but when they find out that they can't, and they're both gone. They're just totally accepting of it and don't even bat an eye and just walk on like it's nothing. They're like, "Oh, Caitlin chose to do this." I'm like, what am I watching? Like,
Okay.
I was so shocked. Now, there is good parts there's a little bit of good in this, especially the Red Death and that bit with the rogues, and Hartley in this episode was really good. His story arc with his boyfriend or partner, and like him bringing out the good in him, but then Hartley showing that he's actually a good person, going back and saving people without even asking Barry for help. Um, but even then, Caitlin's character. There's a third character. Caitlin, the actress, is in this, but it's a third character called. Actually, it was called Snow. I'm not sure what the name is now. Some weird name. I can't even remember it. It's that weird, and it starts with a K. It's just out there totally. I can't even. I don't know if there's comic precedent to that, but like it was wild, Joe. Like impossible to explain
Okay.
how crazy. And Joe, the god, Joe, the man of the man, is basically put to a back seat now of worrying about Cecile at all points in time, of Cecile getting hurt on the job, Cecile getting hurt fighting metahumans. It's like
Wait,
Joe,
she's
like
fighting
you fought.
metahumans now?
Yeah, she's basically one of the most powerful. Apparently, I missed stuff in 2 seasons. She's one of the most powerful metas of all the metas now. And Joe's just essentially like, oh no, like, you're gonna get hurt. Now the thing is like, this is the biggest, gigantic, hypocritical thing to ever have Joe say or do, considering he spent the first 7 seasons fighting all types of metahumans with no powers, like insisting on showing up with Barry and helping him fight these as a cop. And then he's there like, you can't help Cecile. Like, oh, I feel bad. Like, we need to move. I'm just like, this is wild.
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, if Cecile dies, then he has to take care of the kid by himself,
Yes,
and he
but
doesn't want to do that again.
he strutted out like he strutted out as a cop, as a single dad.
Yeah, but his daughter was already like a grown
No, he was
ass
a
woman.
cop the whole time. He was a
Sure.
cop. So there was a point in time where the mother was gone, and he had not only one kid, but he took in the other kid, aka Barry.
And
And
that's
then he
why he
was
didn't care because the kids would watch after each other. He already knew he knew Barry had a crush
no, this is in
on
St.
Iris,
Bernard's. This
and
is in
so
St.
when
Bernard's in 1998 when I grew up, where you could just leave your kids alone. Apparently now you can't even leave
True.
your kid in the car and go into the store, like into like a gas station or anything. Like, you can't leave your kid in the car.
Well, yeah, because a Karen will come up and bang on the window to try and bust the kid out, even though the windows are already down, and they'll roll up the window just to break it, just
My
to prove
mom
a
would
point.
leave me and my brother in the car and go in
Yeah, that
grocery
was the
shopping.
'80s and
Like,
'90s. They didn't care about us back then.
just playing Game Boy. But it was
My mom
wild,
look,
Joe.
my mom ran into a store one time, and I accidentally put the car in reverse and almost drove into a on a railroad track. So, it's fine.
It it was wild though, this episode. I was in shock. I just like, this is your final season. Like, this is your final season. And this is a character that was in the first 7 to 8 seasons, and you're just like, "Oh, she's gone now. Oh, I can't wait to see what the third Caitlin Snow is gonna become." I'm
New
just like,
Caitlin.
"Okay, this is
I
wild." Now, some of the
Well,
good
okay,
stuff,
so hold
some of
on.
this.
So, real quick. So, Caitlyn and Killer Frost are dead, but
So
they've combined into this new character?
the way I saw it, as Killer Frost turned into some different version of herself to fight Deathstorm, aka Robbie, like evil Robbie at one of the seasons. So she died. So then Caitlyn spent time trying to bring her back, and then Barry snapped because she was playing with dangerous stuff and destroyed her lab. So then she went a rogue route with Chillbane and tried to bring her back. But no, this third Caitlyn popped out when she tried to bring Frost back. And so that Caitlyn exists. And to bring the other two back, they were just going to kill that third Caitlyn like nothing, didn't even care.
So,
The main
Caitlyn's not
guy.
actually dead.
Yes, well, Caitlyn and Frost are never coming back. This is the third person that is completely different person that doesn't even know anybody, doesn't remember much anything. It's basically like a newborn baby.
Cool. So, she's got amnesia, and they will find a way to bring Caitlyn back with this new body.
As someone who has watched these shows, it is total gibberish still. Like I anyway, the rogues, the couple good things. The rogues were good. Hartley's whole arc in this episode was really good. And the rogues were in for like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. And Red Death, getting a look at Red Death. That
This
was
first
the memorable. It first
th
look at Red Death.
in this episode?
Yeah. So whatever the Flash did to him in whatever time they came from, it's some sort of painful force field was going around them, so they had need to get a few things, including Hartley's gauntlets. So they got them at the end, and were able to remove whatever force field was going on with Red Death. So now that they're just like walking around like
So is
nothing. They're
Red Death gonna be in this?
yeah, in the
I thought
next
she was only gonna have one episode.
no, she's already shown in this one, and she said gonna wage war
Oh,
on
cool. Well,
Central
good for
City
her.
next episode. So we're gonna. I still don't know how like just it's not the urgency that I saw from Arrow final season, where you had the same amount of episodes, and immediately from the first two episodes, you knew the stakes were real, and everyone there was no fucking around, Joe. Like
Well,
this
and
was the
that one
last
was
season.
also leading up to Crisis.
Yeah,
That's the
but it
whole new
also
situation.
the whole thing in honor. It was more
Or
about the
yeah,
show's history than it was about Crisis. There was the
correct.
monitor in the background, but it was more about like going through and honoring the show's history, which they're changing rogues from the past now, and in the final season, I just thought whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah, I'm not looking forward to the episode tomorrow, but I'll watch it anyway, just because I'm Arrow's coming. Arrow's coming. That's what I keep telling myself when I'm watching this guy.
nice.
Eventually.
Eventually.
So, Joe, now that I did my complaints about the Flash, let's hear some maybe positive stuff about Superman and Lois, or
Well,
possibly
positive is in a
some stuff that you
category.
like, possibly some.
So these next three episodes, 4, 5, and 6 of season 2, John Henry gets his ass beat apparently by Bizarro. Now he's in the hospital. Natalie is mad at Clark because he apparently is the most powerful man on the planet, and he couldn't stop John Henry from being his own guy and wanting to protect his friend, I guess. I don't know. John Kent is a drug addict now.
Mhm.
Fun. So he went
Good
from
at football, though.
alcohol.
Good at football, though.
Okay. Uh, but he went from being an alcoholic 14-year-old to a sex-driven 15-year-old to now a drug addict 15-year-old. I guess that progression works.
Good influence. Good influence.
We talked about it. I sent you a message the other day. So there was Sarah, who is the Lana and Kyle's daughter, is having their quinceanera. Her and Jordan happen upon Kyle talking to another lady, and they don't specifically say they heard anything. So in my head canon, they see Kyle with another woman and was just like, "Oh my god, what's my dad doing?" I mean, turned out he was having an affair years ago, but broke it off years ago.
When the second kid was born, I thought
Well,
that's
they
what they
said when
said.
Sarah had her accident.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So, like, I think they said like 2 years prior.
Mhm.
But it's also one of those things where, like, he shows up. He has gotten sober, and because of this whole mayor thing with Lana and what she's doing, the
Oh God, the mayor stuff.
mayor Dean is allegedly trying to drudge up things from the past, which in my head means that he knows he's going to lose to Lana, so he's trying to discredit her because that's what you do. And so he is bringing up, he's looking into her family, and Kyle apparently is scared that he's going to find out about the affair, which I mean, I guess tracks, but at the same time, kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they
It,
kind of laid some seeds for it last season, a little bit, but not really. Like
well,
just
they sort of like I know his whole him being an alcoholic was there all season 1, and when everything happened with him being taken over by a Kryptonian, it's like, okay, now I've got to straighten up for my family. Cool, but this bartender made it out like he had not been to this bar in 2 years,
yeah,
I guess. So where was he getting his alcohol last year?
another bar. Maybe he left another bar.
Something.
I don't know.
Another
Small
bar
little.
whose bartender he was fucking, whatever. Um, so that whole thing is because that whole blows up in their face. And I text you at one point because the youngest kid they're at the breakfast nook in the morning, and she asked Lana, she's like, "Mommy, when is Daddy coming home again? Or is Daddy coming home ever again?" I'm like, what the fuck is this show? Why is this part needed? What?
Yeah, it was a head scratch. There's a few head scratchers in season 2 compared to season 1.
Yeah, and then when Lana does talk to Kyle, she basically kicks him out,
Mhm.
saying, "I think I love you, but I'm not sure what." Okay, I don't care. The
Yeah.
problem is I don't care about that.
That was essentially my criticisms for those episodes as well, is just give that time to other storylines that I actually care about.
It's kind of like I thought Bizarro Superman was going to be the big storyline. I mean, he is, but he's actually more of the like, hey, this lady, Ali Aster, or what the fuck her name is, like, she is a problem. She's a problem on my world. She's a problem here, and we cannot let her do all this stuff. Which I'm like, okay, I actually find it interesting because I just thought she was a one-off character a couple episodes back. No, I who I who I thought the big bad was with Bizarro is actually her, Ali, as the big bad for the season, which I kind of like so far.
Same, and I was so happy, like, I tried when you said that last week about Bizarro is the big bad, it seems like it's gonna be cool, and I was like, "I'm not saying anything, I hope
Yeah,
he's
I didn't
okay with
catch
the
on that one.
switch,
So good,
hope
good
he's
for you.
okay with the switch when they do the switch," but I just kept like, "Mhm."
Um, there was the other big thing is Anderson is a giant tool. Like, oh my god, I got people like Superman's telling you that these three people, you're defying me by building this team and then putting my symbol on it. All right, fine. Don't let them go up against this guy. They're not ready. I'll tell you when they're ready. I mean, you won't commit to being America only. Like, no, dude, I've committed to the world. Like, calm down. I'm
Yeah,
going to help everybody,
just
not
because
just
I save a
America.
sub, sorry, I'm gonna let people of North Korea
Yeah, like
die
exactly.
as soon as
Oh, I
possible.
have to. That's literally the Sokovia Accords over in the Civil War. Like, oh, we have to wait for the pencil pushers to give us a go ahead to go save this
Superman's like
town from lava. It's like, no, by the time we get over there, they're already dead.
Superman's essentially doing what Captain America would do if he had Superman's powers, which is,
One hundred percent.
I'm just gonna go do these things, and you guys just
You
keep
figure it
arguing
out
over
later.
here. Yeah,
And so, because of all that, Anderson's just like, oh well, you're not putting America first, so you are under arrest now. Like he's going to hold Superman for treason, and I'm like, you are an idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
yeah. Anderson got a lot of ire. uh,
Well, and
uh,
it's the whole fact of, oh well, you're okay with General Lane. Like, why can't you be friends with me? Superman's not screwing your daughter for one.
and General Lane's not saying I'm making a Superman task force.
That's it.
Come
Like
lead it, and you're
he's
only
working
America.
with Superman, not against Superman for his own interest.
Yes.
And that one general even comes up and tells Anderson, "Is like, yeah, we had no problem with Superman for 15 years, and you're here for 6 months, and already we've lost our best Kryptonian asset.
Hmm.
Like, fix this."
You
And
know
his
what
way to
fixes
fix
it?
it is by arresting Superman.
Not gonna go over too well for old Skippy.
I was like, but honestly though, I'm enjoying it. This season isn't as good as the first season, and I remember you saying how disappointed you were with this season because of the breaks that constantly happened.
Yes.
So I'm in a way I'm kind of glad I'm watching it in these chunks that I am, and I'm giving it a week in between. But at the same time, I would have dreaded watching this week to week,
Well, week to 2 weeks.
air
Yeah.
quotes. Because there definitely would have been times where it wouldn't have been week to week. Like I would have
No.
forgotten what was going on.
Oh, you forget a lot of times, and the frustrating thing is, Joe, like when you build momentum, you'd have like a couple good episodes, and then you're slowing down,
Yeah,
like you're stopped. And there's the best episode in the show. One of the best episodes in the show, in my opinion, is in this season. But then you have like a 2 or 3 week break after the show, after that episode. So you're like, okay,
I'm really hoping that season 3 doesn't do that, but I
yeah.
also understand that it might didn't. this one get cut down to 14 episodes?
I think it got cut down a little bit, and I
13?
also think they have everything filmed. Like, they're not like the way it is with The Flash, where you're on episode 4 or 5. You're
And
filming
then
episode 4 or 5 while episode 1 is airing, and then you're
yeah,
just going it's not like that. I think they have all
it's
the
just
episodes of
everything
Superman.
cycled, yeah.
I think they're
Well, they
all
had
done.
time because I
Yeah.
think Superman Lois season 2 ended, what, in 20 like, early 2022?
Yes, and James Gunn's already said too that people like this show, they're gonna keep that around until at least Superman Legacy starts, just to
Yeah.
give
Yeah, we're
you
getting
your
1, if not 2 more seasons,
yes.
so
And the final thing, Joe, for tonight, our retro recaps: Smallville season 2, episode 6, Redux, and this was a very similar episode to the season 1 episode with the guy that stole the youth from
sort
people.
of,
Like, just the
um,
effect, but I did like this one more where she kissed. I thought the effect of her draining the life out of, uh, like, draining a life was super cool.
yeah.
I thought that
It's
was
one of those,
really
like,
cool.
I remember this episode when it aired. Um, Now, one thing I find interesting, and this was revealed in Talkville, this episode actually was filmed for
Last
season
season.
1,
Yeah. And the
and
actress
then
even talks about, like, this, like, wasn't sure when this was going to air. Does
yeah, I
she
think Michael, had text, Al Goff,
Yeah.
and Al Goff revealed, "Yeah, no, this was they specifically made this episode as a standalone because they didn't know where it was gonna fit."
Yeah.
And then they just kind of reworked it to fit into season 2. And
I think
they were pointing out some stuff about how, Pete didn't know about
Pete
his secret.
Pete was acting like he didn't know instead of,
Yeah,
like, the following episode and the previous episode being right in like, he
in
helped Clark
yeah,
get Clark back, helped Clark with, like, with the red ring, like, immediately noticed and went to Clark's parents, so completely
even
different
like the
Pete.
Lois or the Lana stuff of her not really because they just got a big argument like
Yeah.
episode 2 back, and now it's like, oh yeah, we're just friends.
Yeah,
Really?
so that but also 23 episode, seasons, that kinda stuff, tend to happen more and
Well, and
more.
I was gonna say the biggest thing for me, though, the biggest red flag was the Kents are in debt, which happens. It happens a lot with the Kents, and so they have to ask Martha's dad for money. In my head, I'm like, but she just got a job, literally just got a job working for Lionel,
Yeah.
so she's gonna have
Probably
money.
not the best place to put this immediately
No,
after
it
that when you
definitely
think about
was
that.
like they should have
I
thought.
enjoyed the story though of trying to ask her father for money, like her father and Jonathan being at odds. You're not sure why, and then you find out at the end that it's because they couldn't like they were afraid to show Clark to like her father for fear of what he might do or say.
Well, not only that, but her father straight up told Jonathan he wasn't gonna give him his
Blessing,
blessing
yeah,
to marry Martha, and then he punched him. Jonathan punched his dad. So like, there's some animosity there. Yeah, just
yeah.
a bit.
A couple other highlights, Joe. There's a one a principal that literally lasts one episode.
Well, and that's the other thing because already got the principal what 3 episodes back
Yeah,
when Clark had the red ring. Like, so what happened to that guy? Why did they get a new principal now? Like it would have made sense because they just lost Quan.
Quan.
That this new principal comes in, starts to learn the students, and then he gets attacked, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
You shouldn't have shown a principal anyway because the Quan thing happened late in season 1, episode 17 or 16 or something. So he's been dead for a while, and they still haven't had it. The school continued on. They had their spring formal. They went off for summer and came back, and like
They've had
you
two
had
principals, yeah.
you had the principal that backed down, and then you have another principal. So this school is madness and chaos, and they're clearly not checking anybody's
Oh,
records
well,
because lady gets in that's been in the school
but that's the
forever.
thing. This principal was trying to check the records. She was just basically blocking him the entire time.
Yeah, and it there's few holes in this. This is not one of the better episodes if
It
I
was
someone
like it was.
asks me.
I remember it. The actress Maggie Swanson. I don't remember from Psych. Like I love Psych.
Maggie Lawson.
Lawson. Sorry,
Yeah.
love Psych. Love her in Psych. That's a great. I like when I saw her. I recognized her immediately. I remember the episode.
hmm I do remember the
It's
episode, but
not it's not a great episode.
no, I agree. It's very just meh. I
Yeah,
enjoyed the discussion more on Tocqueville than I enjoyed the episode. That hasn't happened a
definitely.
lot, just a couple times so far. But I'm excited for the next episode because I think if I remember it correctly, I
They
think
mentioned it. I don't remember what
it's
it
a
is though.
good episode. Lineage. I think it is. I think uh, you got someone that shows up saying they're Clark's mother, and then we like see all the stuff from that meteor shower day.
Yeah, so part of me, like, I was trying to remember that, and I feel like the Kents actually put Clark in an orphanage first before they actually agreed to take him.
I think they have him, like, they had the ship, and I think from my memory, I think they pick up Lionel and Lex at some point and help them out, and then for repayment, he forges the adoption ship for them.
Sure, but I think they actually put him in a thing. I don't remember. It's been vaguely remember the episode, but I mean,
I'm
we'll see
interested to
next
see it
week.
because
Yeah,
it's young Lionel, young Lex, young Clark, and Lionel Luther. Anytime Lionel's in this, I love it because he's just an amazing actor.
very true.
So, Joe, that ends our episode for this evening. We'll be back next week with more DC goodness. Tell listeners where they can find you before we get out of here.
You guys can find me on Twitter at underscore Ashley underscore. You can find my show, A Walk to the Multiverse, on Twitter at Walk the Verse. Assuming Twitter stays around. It's a giant dumpster fire at the moment.
Been wacky
Um,
lately.
a little bit. But you guys can find my show. It's currently on, as Travis said at the very beginning, currently covering Last of Us, and it's coming out Wednesdays. I've got 3 more episodes left. 4 more. Yeah, 4 more episodes. We're entering the back arc, the last 3 episodes. Um, Loving the show. It's great. So check that out on the Geek Ultimate Alliance feed every Wednesday for right now.
And you can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. You can drop me a line. We can chat about pretty much anything. I also host Animation Nation podcast on the network as well. We're closing out season 1 of X-Men the Animated Series. I already have several episodes of season 2 in the can. Fun times. I'm excited for X-Men 97 as well. So, but thank you for sticking with us at DC. Espels, Bat Super, Fanboy Clay, all in the game. Thank you for being in the chat. Joe, see you next week, my friend.
See ya.